5 times the mass of the Earth. This planet is probably a rocky planet, maybe 50% larger than the Earth, so a very low mass planet, orbiting the star with a period of 13 days.
The planet completes a full orbit in 13 days. It is 14 times closer than the Earth is from the Sun. However, because its host star is a red dwarf, the planet nevertheless lies in the habitable zone, the region around a star where water could be liquid.
This planet is very exciting because at the distance of the planet from the star, we expect water to be present on the surface of the planet. And when you speak about water, you may speak about life.
In fact, what the astronomers have unveiled is a complex system of 3 low-mass planets. The first one, a 15 Earth-mass planet, was discovered by the same team 2 years ago and orbits the star in 5 days. The second one is the 5 Earth-mass planet in the habitable zone, and a third planet has also been detected. With a mass of 8 times the Earth, it lies further out and takes 84 days to complete a full orbit. The system is also very interesting because the central star lies very close to us.
In the galaxy, most of the stars are very low-mass objects. In fact, the star we are discussing is only 1/3 of the mass of the Sun, and it's one of the closest neighbors. It's only about 20 light years from us.
Because such planets are small and hidden in the glare of the star, it is very difficult to see them directly. To detect them, astronomers rely on indirect techniques, the most successful one being the radial velocity method. A planet in orbit around a star will show its presence by pulling the star in different directions, thereby changing its measured velocity in a very regular way. However, these changes are tiny, of the order of a few meters per second, and the most precise measuring machines are necessary. To make this incredible discovery, the astronomers used one of ESO's telescopes, located at La Silla in Chile. Attached to this telescope is the HARPS spectrograph, that can measure velocities with a precision better than 1 meter per second.
These detections were made possible thanks to measurement obtained with HARPS, the instrument that is presently the most precise one in the world to measure the radial velocity of stars. With this instrument, we already have detected 11 among the 13 lightest known planets.
The newly found super-Earth will certainly attract a great deal, especially from space-based astronomy missions that will look for life in the universe. Meanwhile, however, the astronomers do not plan to rest and have other ambitious goals.
Presently, we are still not at the limit of the possibility of HARPS. So I can anticipate that we have the possibility to still detect more smaller planets, maybe 2 Earth mass and so on. And this is a very challenging goal.
We come to the Earth, which, well, grew to get here, the way it is now. Here is our world, our planet Earth, floating in space. We will be going backward in time, imperfectly, but done in a very disciplined manner. Please notice there is no subduction, rotation of tectonic plates, no twisting, no form-fitting, no altering shapes or sizes. It would be impossible for these continental plates to fit together perfectly without this being true, and yet the upper tectonic plates fit together perfectly on a much smaller planet. Yes, there's been some erosion, landslides, blah blah, but overall this activity is insignificant. There is a kind of conspiracy of silence among certain scientists. They know, but are not telling you, that the upper tectonic plates of Earth also join in the Pacific. Not partially. They join totally. You are asked to believe that the continents swim or drift about willy-nilly, bumping and crashing as if they were on a greased skillet. This is not true. The simple truth is apparently too upsetting to too many apple carts. We're now going forward in time to show how the actual growth of the Earth took place. Imperfect as to details, but the overall is nailed. Antarctica, as you see, has become subtropical. Africa and a smaller globe move way downward under the globe. In fact, for hundreds of millions of years, the bottom of Africa was the South Pole. South America's tail goes under and wraps around the bottom of Africa. Then incredibly, it joins coast with Antarctica. 65 million years ago and more, these continents were joined, and marsupials like the duck-billed platypus roamed from Australia, Antarctica, and across southern South America and up into Africa. The platypus. Dinosaurs roamed all over this world on the upper tectonic plate because there were no oceans, just shallow seas. Here today, Antarctica is frozen over, and Australia and its surrounding islands are the remaining home of marsupials. Do you see how broadly the Pacific is opening compared to the Atlantic? This is exactly why the knee-jerk Pangea theory exists. The Pacific spread is too difficult to easily visualize because it's so big. The Atlantic spread is so obvious that a child would recognize it, but they are the same. Check this map out. The Navy and others took core samples to find the ages of the sea bottom. Lo and behold, no part of the undersea was found to be much older than 70 million years old. Does that shock you? It should. It shocked the scientists. Where do they get ancient fish fossils from? From the land, like in Mississippi and Utah and France and China. Most of the undersea wasn't there 70 or 80 million years ago. The measurements of the core samples give the age of the sea floor. Newest, 10 million or so, is red. As we go back in time, we go backward in our rainbow, orange, yellow, green, blue, okay? So we bury the new sea floor back to the fault lines as dictated by color or age. 10 million years back, these are the ages of the sea floor as measured by science, and they're generally true. Earth grew. 20 million. I'm not making this information up. This map comes from the scientific community. 30 million. You can find the same map in many places on the internet. It's common knowledge. 40. The ocean bottom is from 1 year to 180 million years old. 50. 70% of it is no older than 60 million years old. 60. The upper plate, the continents, are as old as 2 billion years old and more. 70. 10 to 20 times as old as the undersea plates. The undersea plate is new and spreading at the rifts. Why does the scientific community desperately cling to and promote the idea that the ocean bottom is sliding under the continents and into a magma which is twice as dense as totally unsupportable and scientifically unsound idea? They have to. Or else they'd have to observe and admit that the Earth is growing. And that, viewers, is a very big deal. That would change everything in science, from the smallest particle to the whole universe. 100 years of scientific theory out the window. That's a lot to give up. It's important to remember that science and the universe should and must be easier to understand as we go back in the universe's evolution. This is an undersea map. As a kind of test for ourselves, show that not only the upper plate had to fit properly together, but the undersea had to spread in a logical, reasonable pattern that we could see and understand as rational humans.